Welcome back to our Deep Dive Monday series. Today we are looking further into the sinking of the RMS Lusitania. In May 1915, the British ocean liner Lusitania sank in the coastal waters of Ireland after being struck by a German torpedo. Of the 1,962 people on board, only 763 survived. The sinking of the Lusitania remains one of the most controversial events of the First World War. And although it is widely accepted that the ship was sunk by a German submarine, the full story is much more complicated than that simple fact would suggest. The Lusitania was a British passenger liner built in the early 1900s and operated by the Cunard Line. At the time of her sinking, she was one of the largest and fastest ships in the world. The Lusitania was designed to transport passengers between Europe and North America with stops in various European cities, including Liverpool, where she had departed from earlier that morning. In the first week of May 1915, tensions were high between the British and German navies. Germany had declared the area around the British Isles a war zone and warned that any ships found there would be sunk. Despite this warning, the captain of the Lusitania, Charles Frolicher, decided to take the ship out into the Atlantic for a quick crossing. At 1:55 p.m., lookouts on the Lusitania spotted a submarine directly in their path. The captain immediately ordered the ship to take evasive action, but it was too late. The U-boat fired a torpedo at the ship, and within seconds, the liner was split in two. Lifeboats were launched from nearby towns, and many people on the shore also came out to help. But the number of lifeboats available was simply not enough, and she sunk way too fast. By the end of the day, 1,195 people had perished. The captain's decision to sail the Lusitania through dangerous waters was heavily criticized. Many people felt that he had acted recklessly and had endangered the lives of everyone on board. However, an investigation later revealed that the captain had made every effort to avoid sailing into a war zone. In fact, he had even altered the ship's course in an attempt to avoid the U-boat. The sinking of the Lusitania had a major impact on public opinion in the United States. At the time, the U.S. was still neutral in the war, but the sinking of the Lusitania led to a growing sense of outrage against Germany. Many Americans felt that Germany had acted with impunity and that they had violated international law by sinking a neutral ship. This outrage eventually led to the U.S. declaring war on Germany in April of 1917. But why exactly did the Germans sink the Lusitania? Well, the answer is complicated. There are three leading theories about why the Germans sank the Lusitania. The first is that it was a military target. The Germans believed that the Lusitania was carrying munitions and other supplies to the British, so they decided to sink it. However, this theory is unlikely because the Lusitania was not carrying any military supplies at the time. The second theory is that it was a mistake. The Germans claimed that they mistook the Lusitania for a British warship, but this claim has been disputed by many historians who argue that the U-boat crew knew exactly what they were hitting. The third theory is that it was an act of revenge. The Germans were angry about the British blockade of German ports, and they wanted to send a message. Sinking the Lusitania was a way of showing the British that they were vulnerable, even in civilian vessels. There is no doubt that the sinking of the Lusitania was a tragedy. 1915 was a pivotal year in world history, and the sinking of the Lusitania helped to turn American public opinion against Germany. But the full story is much more complex than many people realize. It was not just a case of a reckless captain and a ruthless German U-boat. It was a tragedy that resulted from the complex web of events that were taking place in Europe at the time. And if you enjoyed this video and want to support our channel, please like and subscribe for more fun facts from around our world. See ya in the next one.